What's good, y'all? It's Taj Rockitt, aka Mr. Highly Motivated, baby. Here to get you motivated, baby. And we out here in Presidio Park in front of the Padre here in San Diego, California. And we here for Motivated Mondays, episode number 29. And we're gonna enhance your mind and your grind, because today what we talking about is seek progress, not perfection. That's right. We want to seek progress to get better every day instead of perfection, trying to be perfect every day. Now, reason being, nothing in life, no person in life, no situation, no goal, outcome, nothing in life is perfect. Nothing in life is perfect, nor will it ever be. We don't come from a perfect world. We weren't born into a perfect situation, and we will never deal with things perfectly, but we can always make progress and do the best with what we have at that given time. Now, in terms of perfection, ask yourself, what is perfection? If life was perfect, if every day you woke up and you were able to be perfect, what would that look like? Would that mean that you're drinking 8 ounces of water 8 times a day? Would that mean you're getting 8 hours of sleep? Does that mean that you're working and you're perfectly productive and you're at your perfect job and you never have one issue at work with any of your coworkers or your boss? Maybe your kids are acting perfect and you're giving them all the time that you need in the world. Maybe you're getting the perfect amount of vacation time, or you have the perfect amount of time during lunch. Maybe your food is perfect at lunch. It's at the perfect temperature. Maybe when you go home, your relationship with your spouse or your significant other is perfect. Maybe you don't have a significant other or a spouse, and that's perfect. You know, maybe when you go to sleep and you have a dream, it's perfect. There's never a nightmare or there's never a night scare. You never have any issues. You never get a flat tire on the way to work. Your car is perfect. The leather is perfect. Nothing gets deteriorated. That's not realistic. That's not realistic. We gotta seek progress, not perfection. Reason being, perfection. What is it? Look at this grass right here. Would it be no brown? It'd be all green? Would it be just a perfect luscious green? Would that be perfect? Maybe even the Padre. maybe the Father isn't. His statue is just perfectly shiny at all times. It's not realistic. It's not realistic. Reason being, life is not about being perfect. Life is about being better than we were yesterday. It's about using things that we go through which are not perfect to use that as a learning lesson to become better. Think about your life. Just think about where you are now. Just literally just sit. You can even pause this video and reflect where you were a year ago from today and compare it to where you are now at this moment. Maybe even go back to your Facebook and see what you're doing a year ago from today. Look at what you've done over the timeline or the course of the year and ask yourself, what progress have I made? I'm telling you, look at the progress. You can pause this right now. Look at the progress. Look at the things that you've changed. Look at what you've accomplished. Look at just who you are as a person. Think about even your mindset, your mentality, the way that you view things. I'm telling you, it's progress, not perfection. Nobody's perfect. No situation is perfect. But if you can make progress and you can use these steps, these stepping stones, these growth opportunities, these situations that have forced you, probably uncomfortable situations that have forced you to learn, to grow, to analyze, to strategize, to prioritize, to emphasize the things that you need to focus on. And if you look at those things and you realize that those things are helping you get better, then you'll realize that the progress, or the things that are creating the need for the progress, is what life's all about. Seek the progress, not perfection. Because the perfection isn't even real. There's no such thing as perfection. We can't even base anything off of something that's perfect, because there's never been and there never will be anything that's perfect. There's nothing that's perfect. There's no perfection. A lot of times in society, the society that we live in, right? We like to use, let's say, the media. Well, we're gonna use the Kardashians. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to be like the Kardashians, or I want to be like LeBron, because that's a perfect basketball player. I want to be like this. I want to be like that, because we like to compare ourselves. We live in a world where we're always getting blasted with these images, and we're being told this is what you should do. You should eat this kind of food. You should always get this. You should always have this. And in reality, that's not you, that's not your life, but we like to compare, because if we're able to compare or have something that we're comparing to, we're shooting for something that's similar. So I use the Kardashians, and I'm not a woman, but a lot of women I hear, that are trying to be like Kardashians, they want a butt like Kim. They want a man like Kanye. They want to be able to just not do anything for work and just sit around and be able to be on social media all day. But in reality, if these individuals go get these butt jobs, they get in a relationship and they're always seeking for a Kanye and that they can't find him, but they're always looking. Or if they don't have a job and they're always looking on social media, my question is, where's the happiness? Is that really what you want? Or are you just telling yourself that's what you want because that's what you're seeing? That's what you're being shown. There is no such thing as perfection, but progress. Looking deep within oneself and asking yourself where I was and asking yourself truly, where do you want to be? Now that progress, that's where the good stuff's at. That's where life's value's at. That's where you can create a life that you're actually going to be happy with. But if you're always trying to live someone else's life like the Kardashians, you're going to get that bud job, maybe it gets botched. Now what? You seek for a man like Kanye, but you never find him. And you're always looking for a certain type of person, even though the perfect or the best fit situation or person is in your life, but you don't see him because you're overlooking that person because you're always looking for this thing that's not even realistic, and you miss him. Now what? And you're by yourself. Now what? Or you're looking to never have a job, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna be happy unless I can just be on social media all day. And then you end up having no money. You end up having nowhere to live, no one to support you. Now what? Like, these things happen to people on a daily basis. But we can't live based off of other people's realities because a lot of things that were being shown in these reality TV shows or whatever, not even real. There is no perfect. Perfect is a facade. It's a facade. Perfect is not real, but progress. Things that you can actually shoot for using past circumstances, past data, and using that to analyze, strategize, prioritize, and make the decisions to make progress. That is real. I'm gonna use nutrition as an example. There is no perfect way to eat. There is no perfect meal plan. There is no perfect meal. There is no perfect, let's say, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto. And there is no perfect route to take. But there is probably one that is best suited for you. Like me, myself, I've recently gotten back to being vegan with Laura. It works best for me. I've tried multiple different avenues. I've even tried to be the perfect little vegan back before we reapproach this thing. It doesn't work because the moment you stray off of the thing that you're seeking for perfection, and if you miss, let's say you're trying to be vegan like I did, and then you end up having one hamburger, or you eat a nacho, it's got chicken on it, you're like, oh, that's good, I'm just gonna have a couple more. And then what happens? You go back and you reflect on what you did, and you feel like a failure. You feel like you threw it all away. In reality, you just made a little mistake. You chose to just try something out. But what happens is we end up looking at that thing as such a negative, it completely flips our world around. And then we tell ourselves, I'm nothing. I'm a failure. I'll never succeed. I'll never be healthy. So what's the point? And you just go into this downward mental spiral, which then turns into a physical, literal life spiral. And this happened to me. And you may even be able to analyze and say, you know what, I've done that too. I said I was going to be healthy. I was going to eat healthy on meal plan, and then I missed a day. And then it turned into a week, then it turned into a month. And I said, what's the point? Then I gained 20 pounds. Like, it's real. It happens. We're human. There is no perfection, but progress. If you can say, you know what, I'm going to work on eating one healthy meal this week. And you eat one healthy meal that week. Then you use that momentum. Or you're like, you know what, next week I'm going to have 2 healthy meals. And then 3. And then I'm going to start meal prepping 1 for a day. And then 2 for a day, and then I'm gonna meal prep for the 5 days out the week, but I'm enjoying myself on the weekend. Give yourself realistic goals, set realistic expectations, and make progress, but also be nice to yourself. Be sincere with yourself, because you're gonna make mistakes. That's where the growth happens. You need these growth opportunities. Without mistakes, how would we learn what does or doesn't work? It's trial and error. It's like math. You gotta plug one number in. If it doesn't work, plug in another one. And if you get the equation wrong, don't just say, I'm never gonna figure it out. You gotta keep trying. And if you make a mistake and you get a question wrong on the test, that's okay. Just take a step back, figure out what the thought process was, figure out what you had done and why you got it incorrect, and then go back and try it again. But like, let's say if you're trying to try a vegan diet and it doesn't work for you, that may not be for you. I'm not gonna tell everybody you need to be vegan, you need to be plant-based. That's not realistic. That's not realistic. Some people live in Wisconsin, they live in Madison, and they have so much access to dairy and they've been told their whole life that it's important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do your own research and learn, but maybe they have so much access and it's actually something that's realistic within their lifestyle. Maybe they're gonna have dairy, that's okay. Do you? Maybe keto works for you during a season. We're seasonal beings. Fall, winter, spring, summer. There's a reason why certain fruit, certain vegetables, certain foods are good during certain times of the year, because it's seasonal. We go through cycles. Women go through their period. Think about it, like cycles. With seasons, foods, physical changes, cycles. We are cycled beings. We go through cycles. You need to go to the bathroom. It's a cycle. Your body is cycling. When you work out, and then you need to recover. It's a cycle. It's a process. But within the process, if you're focusing on perfection instead of progress, you may quit before you even get started. You gotta focus on the short term and how you're getting better. Give yourself time to reflect and see what you've done to be better instead of looking at the long term. This is what I need to do, and if I don't hit this, then I'm nothing. If you can remove the perfection or the idea of I need to be this or I need to accomplish this for my life to have value, if you can get rid of that and just focus on being better, having a life that upholds to your values, ask yourself what your values are. Being a good person, calling my mom, saying hi to a stranger, you know what I mean? Helping out an elderly person across the street. Like, what are your values? Being a good human, motivating others, making sure that I'm taking care of myself, taking personal time, spending time with my loved ones. Like, these are things that we should be focusing on instead of like, I'm gonna be 5% body fat. I'm never gonna miss a meal, never have a cheat meal. You're gonna realize that those things not only are not realistic, but they're probably not what you really even want. So even with nutrition, it's okay if you miss a meal. It's okay if you eat a piece of pizza. Now, what's gonna happen is the moment you start to change your life and you make the progress and you start to get healthier, and you have that piece of pizza, or like me and Laura yesterday, we went to LA, and we've been vegan again for about a month. We had a little burrito yesterday that had a little bit of meat and cheese in it. My stomach was angry, but I wasn't down on myself. I was like, you know what, I deserve this. I've been working hard. I got a lot of things coming my way, and you know what, I want to try, when we travel, we want to be able to try different foods and stuff, and I understand vegan is important, and I do hold myself to a higher standard with things, with food and with fitness and just being smart and always being on schedule. But I understand that things change, people change, situations change, and we are different, and every day has a new obstacle that we may not be able to anticipate. And if you know that you're just focused on progress instead of perfection, seek progress, not perfection, then you'll realize that within that progress, that is what life's all about, the journey, the change, the movement. And speaking of movement, let's say you're on fitness, right? And you're like, man, I need to work out every day of the week, at least an hour a day, every day, never taking a day off. That's the only way that I'm gonna be healthy, and that's the only way I'm gonna be happy. If you start there, you already lost. You already lost. Why? First off, anatomically, physically, scientifically, if you have not been working out, and you're gonna put yourself through a rigorous situation 7 days a week, 365 days until the day you pass, it's not gonna work. Why? Because you haven't adapted to the situation, the stress that you're about to endure. You're not giving yourself the proper amount of time to recover. Recovery is where the growth happens. When you work out, that's not where the growth happens. That's where you break down the muscle fibers. You need to give the muscle fibers time, give it proper fuel and rest, recovery and love. Then they are gonna start to expand. That's where the hypertrophy happens. That's where the growth in the VO2 max, that's where all these things start to happen productively. And that's where the progress, not perfection, happens. But there's so many other things, so many other variables during this time of progress to get to your desired goal that happen and that need to happen before you can get there. But there is no such thing as perfection. Seek progress, not perfection. Now, if you look at it like I got 7 days a week, every day, and you miss a day, you miss one day of working out, and you told yourself, man, I have to. This is urgency, and I love urgency, don't get me wrong. Urgency is key. I've talked about this before. But if you're always telling yourself, I have to do this or I'm nothing, if I don't do this, it's over, and the moment you miss that day, I'm telling you, depression's right around the corner. Telling yourself, you have to, like urgency is great, I gotta get there, I gotta get to the spot, I gotta make it happen. But if you make it a situation where you become a failure if you do not create that possibility, or if that doesn't happen for yourself, you've already lost. Because things are gonna happen, your car's gonna catch a flat. Somebody might bump in, you might literally get I wish this on nobody, but let's say you get a car wreck and you have to go to the hospital and you can't work out that day. What now what? Life is coming. We have to be adaptable, we have to be ready to move and groove. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't give yourself that flexibility, that leniency, that self-love, that self-gratitude, those things that we need to have, if you don't give yourself those and that room for a little bit of error along the way, You'll never find happiness. And at the end of the day, perfection, once again, that's not where the happiness lies. It's the journey, the progress in the journey. It's recognizing when you're doing good and giving yourself a pat on the back with those eating that healthy meal. Or, you know what, I got 3 days of working out in this week, or I got 2, or dang, I got 1 workout in this week. I haven't worked out in 3 months. Good job, me. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Tell everybody, I got my first workout in months, baby. I'm killing it. And they're gonna be like, you are. And you're gonna motivate somebody else, and you're gonna help change their life just by helping change yours. But Rome wasn't built in a day. I know you heard that. Nothing happens overnight. It's slow, steady progress. You've never heard slow, steady perfection. I'm always going for perfection. It's gotta happen today, perfect, or it's never gonna work. If we always shot for perfection, then we'd stop shooting. A basketball player doesn't get better by making every single shot. They gotta miss a shot, and they gotta learn from that. Oh, what was going on with my forearm, with my elbow? You know what I'm saying? Me as a triathlete, I miss blocks of working out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes my body's like, whoa there. You ain't cycling 100 miles today. You ain't cycling 50. You gotta take a day off. You gotta listen to your body, your circumstances, your everything. Life is a living, breathing thing, just like you. And if you don't give that living, breathing thing what it needs, eventually it's gonna require it, and you're not gonna be able to make the decision to either do or do not, right? So like fitness, let's say you're working out, like your body can shut down. I've watched some of these crazy documentaries where these dudes are running 36 hours straight or doing these crazy physical feats. And this one guy was doing 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 different states, and he fell asleep on his bike. Literally cycling, high intensity cycling, fell asleep because his body was like, nope, laying down. You gotta listen to yourself. And I'm not saying that he was wrong for chasing that dream, because he motivated thousands. He changed lives all over the world with his feet. But at the end of the day, his body was telling him, you're gonna have to sit down for a second. He had to take a break before he can get back to it. So just focus on the progress, not the perfection. Even in our relationships. Like, you know, I'm with Laura, my girlfriend. Well, I love her to death, but our relationship isn't perfect. Our parents relate. My mom never had a perfect relationship. Her parents together don't have a perfect relationship. We don't even have perfect relationships to even look at. Like, I'm bringing back the Kardashians again. Like, is it Kim and Kanye, is that a perfect relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no such thing as perfect relationship, because once again, it comes down to the individuals who are in the relationship, or that are eating those meals, or that are doing those workouts. Their past, right? Measurable, attainable progress. I'm telling you, if you look at your relationship and you're like, all right, our goal, like me and Laura, we set a thing, no social media when we're in each other's presence. Unless we're obviously filming something with each other, like, you know, on my Instagram stories or whatever, but try not to do that with each other. And sometimes we have a natural tendency to, well, you know, it's an addictive property, and we understand the chemical want, the addiction that social media has, and that's why it's created the way it is. But like, we want to click it. We want to look at it. It's natural. It's a natural tendency. And sometimes I make the mistake of clicking the Instagram or the Facebook in her presence, and she calls me out, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. And she can tell I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just naturally didn't even think about it, right? Things happen. But it's the fact that I'm making progress and addressing the fact that I'm not trying to do that, or that I'm constantly like, you know what, Laura, I'm so sorry about that, but I have been noticing that I haven't been clicking. She's like, yeah, you're right. And then she gives me a positive affirmation, and we just move on. But like, with even relationships with your significant other, like, no relationship is perfect. Relationship with your kids, you know, you may someday you may be super swamped with work, and you're like so busy that you don't notice that your child needs a little bit more attention. And not every day is gonna be perfect. That's okay. Like, you know, work's gonna throw stuff at you. Life's gonna throw stuff at you. But if you make progress, say, you know what, I'm gonna work on being a better parent. I'm gonna work on being a better spouse, or a better significant other. If you constantly work on that and show others that you're really trying, and even if you're like making marks about it, like have a journal. Like, I'll even bring it back to fitness, but like with my workouts, I use the Strava app, and I've noticed for the last 6 months, my volume has steadily increased. I didn't seek perfection. My goal, long-term goal, is to cycle, swim, bike 5 days a week, every week, and I'm at least an hour a piece, you know what I mean? Like, and weight train and yoga. I have yet to even hit that mark yet. But I'm getting there though. The progress. So when I look at the actual measurable goals, I realize that it is attainable. It's a long-term goal. My elite Ironman goals are long-term goals, but I know that it's possible through the focus on progress, not perfection. Now, if you tell yourself, but I want to be perfect, you know what? Everybody's different, but I promise you, if you focus on being perfect day in and day out, one day, it's gonna exhaust you to the point you're gonna wanna completely throw it all away. And you don't wanna do that. So if you just focus on the steps, right? That's why a staircase is more realistic than a steady hill, right? It's a lot harder to go up a hill with no stairs than to have stairs, right? Because those steady steps, boom, boom, they add up to getting to the top of the hill. But if you chose the side with no steps, it's probably gonna be a lot more work. I'm not saying it's not attainable, but it's gonna be a lot more work to get to the top. So seek progress, not perfection. Nobody's perfect. No relationship's perfect. But if you seek on getting better, let's say I've started to sit with Laura multiple times in a week and just sit down, turn the TV off, and just have a conversation. Sometimes we like to zone out because we've had long weeks. I know you have too, long days. Maybe just sit down next to your loved ones, give them a call, whatever the situation is, and you start to actively make progress and show that you're trying. I promise that perfection isn't what we're gonna see, but more happiness, long-term, positive, happier lives are what we're gonna be able to accomplish. So seek progress, not perfection. Nobody, nothing is or ever will be perfect, but I promise you, we can make progress. And if you create that measurable step, if you measure your progress, or if you take notes, like this is what I've been eating, and then you reflect on the last month of what you've ate every day, use MyFitnessPal. Type in what you've been eating, at least do it for a month, and just see what you've been eating, and then compare it to what you used to do. You're gonna be like, dang, I'm killing it. And then that creates confidence. Then that creates excitement. Then that creates something that you look forward to doing because you see the progress. And that creates momentum. Progress creates momentum. Perfection, if you're chasing something that's truly never attainable, that's gonna create sadness. That's gonna create despair. So don't do that to yourself. You're in control. You're in control of your progress. You're in control of the way your life's gonna turn out. And I promise, if you seek progress, not perfection, your overall life will get better. Download MyFitnessPal, start recording your meals. Download Strava. Start typing in your activity levels if you're focused on fitness. If you're focused on nutrition, MyFitnessPal. Focused on fitness, download Strava. It's free. They're both free. And then with your relationship, talk to your significant other. Maybe make notes. And these are all things that I'm just using because they've helped my life. Maybe make notes and schedule days, schedule times with people that you love, taking trips with people you love, and schedule those like you schedule work. Like we just went to LA yesterday and came back the same day because we needed a little bit of us time without the distractions of being, here in San Diego. And it was only a 2-hour drive up, but that made a world of change, and we felt so good when we got home. We felt so much more connected. We had to recharge our relationship batteries. I'm telling you. And these are just things that I'm pulling from my personal experience, but I promise you, if you record these things, if you track these things the way that you feel it's best for you, and if you speak with the other person that you're living with or just whatever, trying to build a life with, or even with yourself, and you take those personal days or those times with you and the other or whatever the situation is, I promise if you focus on that progress, not perfection, you're gonna love your life and everything about it. So one more time. It's Taj Rockitt, baby, aka Mr. Highly Motivated, here to get you motivated, friend of the Padre, you know what I'm saying, baby? You know what it is, knock the ball out of the park with that progress. One more step, one more bite, one more conversation towards a happier life, a better long-term life, and I promise you will appreciate, love, and respect yourself more than you ever have before. Seek progress, not perfection. Turn your life in your favorite collection. You know what I'm saying, baby? See y'all next time. Say goodbye to the positive, because we out of here, baby. Holla.